Have you ever felt like your legs have betrayed you? Like no matter how hard you try to stay active, no matter how carefully you watch your diet, your legs just keep getting weaker? Do you find yourself avoiding stairs, hesitating before getting up from a chair, or feeling that frustrating wobble when you stand? You're not alone. Millions of people over 50 are experiencing this exact same struggle right now. They wake up every morning hoping today will be different, that their legs will feel stronger, more stable, more reliable. But day after day, that strength seems to slip away like sand through their fingers. Here's what's really heartbreaking. Most people think this is just getting older. They've been told it's inevitable, that weak legs are simply part of aging. But what if I told you that's not true? What if the real culprit isn't your age, but something you're doing every single day without even realizing it? What if the very foods you think are keeping you healthy are actually stealing your leg strength? What if that morning routine you followed for years is secretly sabotaging your muscles? What if everything you've been told about maintaining strength after 50 is completely backwards? The truth is, there's one specific food that can restore your leg strength in as little as 12 hours. Not 12 weeks, not 12 days, 12 hours. And it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now, completely ignored, because nobody ever told you its incredible power. But before I reveal this life-changing discovery, I need you to understand something crucial. Your weak legs aren't your fault. The confusion, the conflicting advice, the products that promise miracles but deliver nothing, none of that is your fault. You've been working with incomplete information, following outdated guidelines that don't account for how your body changes as you age. Your body at 50, 60, or 70 is fundamentally different from your body at 30. Your metabolism has shifted. Your circulation has changed. Your nutritional needs have evolved. What worked before might now be working against you. What seemed healthy might now be harmful. And what you've been avoiding might be exactly what your legs are desperately craving. I've spent years researching this phenomenon, studying the latest scientific breakthroughs, and working with people just like you who thought their strong days were behind them. And what I've discovered will shock you. The solution isn't more exercise, expensive supplements, or complicated meal plans. It's simpler, more natural, and more powerful than anything you've ever tried. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll know exactly which food can transform your leg strength overnight. You'll understand why your current approach isn't working, and you'll have a clear, science-backed plan to reclaim the strong, stable legs you thought were gone forever. But I need you to watch until the very end, because missing even one piece of this puzzle could mean the difference between success and continued struggle. Are you ready to discover the truth about leg strength after 50? Are you ready to stop accepting weakness as inevitable? Then let's dive in, because what you're about to learn will change everything. To understand why your legs feel weaker now than they did years ago, we need to talk about what's really happening inside your body. And I promise you, it's not what you think. As we age, our bodies undergo profound changes that most people never see coming. Your metabolism slows down by approximately 3 to 5% per decade after age 30. That means your body processes food, burns energy, and builds muscle completely differently than it used to. But here's what no one tells you. This metabolic shift affects your legs more dramatically than any other part of your body. Why? Because your legs contain some of the largest muscle groups in your entire body. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves require enormous amounts of energy and specific nutrients to maintain their strength. When your metabolism slows down, these massive muscles are the first to suffer. It's like trying to fuel a race car with half the gas it needs. Everything starts to break down. But metabolism is just the beginning. Your circulation system also undergoes dramatic changes. The tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your leg muscles become less efficient. Blood flow decreases, especially to your extremities. This means your leg muscles are literally starving for the nutrients they need to stay strong, even if you're eating a healthy diet. Then there's inflammation, the silent destroyer that nobody talks about. As we age, our bodies develop what scientists call chronic low-grade inflammation. It's like having a tiny fire burning throughout your system, constantly breaking down muscle tissue faster than your body can rebuild it. Your legs, bearing the weight of your entire body every day, take the biggest hit from this inflammatory assault. Here's where it gets really interesting and frustrating. The foods that were perfectly fine for you at 30 or 40 can become inflammatory triggers at 50 or 60. That morning orange juice that gave you energy for decades, it might now be spiking your blood sugar and triggering inflammation that weakens your legs. Those whole grain cereals you thought were heart healthy, they could be creating the exact metabolic conditions that rob your muscles of strength. Your digestive system has changed too. You produce fewer digestive enzymes, your stomach acid levels decrease, and your gut bacteria composition shifts. This means you're not absorbing nutrients as effectively as you used to. You might be eating all the right foods, but your body simply can't extract the muscle-building compounds your legs desperately need. The most frustrating part: the symptoms creep up so gradually that you barely notice them at first. Maybe you start avoiding the stairs occasionally. Perhaps you hold onto the railing a little tighter. You might notice your legs feel heavy at the end of the day, or you feel less steady when you first stand up. These aren't dramatic, sudden changes. They're subtle shifts that slowly steal your confidence and independence. And here's what makes this even worse. Most of the advice you've received is based on research done on younger bodies, exercise programs designed for 30-year-olds, nutrition guidelines that don't account for your changing metabolism, supplement recommendations that ignore your altered absorption patterns. The tragedy is that millions of people are following advice that's actually accelerating their muscle loss. They're eating foods they think are healthy, but are actually inflammatory. They're avoiding foods that could restore their strength because they've been labeled as bad. They're stuck in a cycle of good intentions that lead to disappointing results. But what if I told you there's one food that can break this cycle? One simple, natural food that addresses your changed metabolism, supports healthy circulation, reduces inflammation, and delivers the exact nutrients your leg muscles are craving. What if this food could start working in just 12 hours? Not because it's some miracle supplement, but because it works with your body's natural healing processes. That's exactly what we're going to explore next. Item 1. The hidden danger of healthy fruits. Everyone loves fruit, right? We've been told since childhood that an apple a day keeps the doctor away, that citrus fruits are packed with vitamin C, and that fruit is nature's candy. But here's what nobody tells you about fruit after age 50. The very thing that makes it sweet could be stealing your leg strength. The problem isn't the fruit itself. It's how your changed metabolism processes the natural sugars inside. When you were younger, your body efficiently converted fruit sugars into energy. But as your metabolism slows and your insulin sensitivity decreases, something dangerous happens. Those natural fruit sugars start triggering inflammatory responses that directly attack your muscle tissue. Here's the science. When you eat fruit, especially on an empty stomach, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. In a younger body, this spike is quickly managed. But in an older body with decreased metabolic efficiency, this sugar surge triggers the release of inflammatory compounds called cytokines. These cytokines travel through your bloodstream and specifically target the largest muscle groups in your body, your legs. The most surprising culprit: bananas. Yes, the fruit that athletes eat for quick energy can actually be weakening your legs. A single banana contains about 27 grams of sugar. When your slower metabolism can't process this efficiently, it creates what scientists call glycemic stress. This stress doesn't just affect your blood sugar, it creates a cascade of inflammation that breaks down muscle protein faster than your body can rebuild it. But here's what's really insidious. You won't feel this happening. Unlike the immediate energy crash from eating candy, fruit-induced muscle breakdown happens gradually over hours and days. You might notice your legs feeling heavier, your balance seeming less steady, or your endurance decreasing, but you'd never connect it to that healthy fruit smoothie you had for breakfast. Citrus fruits present another hidden danger. While they're praised for their vitamin C content, they're also highly acidic. In an aging body with decreased buffering capacity, this acidity can disrupt the pH balance in your muscle tissue. Your leg muscles work optimally in a slightly alkaline environment. When citrus consumption makes your body more acidic, your leg muscles literally can't contract as efficiently. It's like trying to run a car engine with the wrong type of fuel. The timing makes it worse. Most people eat fruit in the morning when their cortisol levels are naturally highest. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and when it combines with fruit sugars, It creates a perfect storm for muscle breakdown. Your legs, which need to carry you through the entire day, start the morning already compromised. Even seemingly innocent dried fruits are major offenders. The dehydration process concentrates the sugars, making them even more inflammatory. Those raisins in your healthy oatmeal, they're delivering a concentrated dose of muscle-weakening compounds directly to your system. The saddest part is watching people religiously eat fruit, thinking they're being healthy, while their leg strength steadily declines. They follow the old nutritional wisdom that worked when they were younger, not realizing their body's needs have fundamentally changed. They're fighting muscle weakness with one hand while unknowingly feeding it with the other. Have you noticed your legs feeling weaker after your usual fruit-heavy breakfast? Have you been following a high-fruit diet while wondering why your strength isn't improving? The connection might be clearer than you think, and understanding this relationship is crucial before we reveal the one food that can reverse this damage. Item 2. The whole grain deception. For decades, we've been told that whole grains are the foundation of healthy eating. Whole wheat bread, brown rice, oatmeal. These have been positioned as the smart choices, the foods that responsible adults choose over refined alternatives. But when it comes to leg strength after 50, whole grains might be your muscle's worst enemy. The problem lies in something called lectins, naturally occurring proteins that plants use to defend themselves. In younger bodies with robust digestive systems, lectins are manageable. But as we age, our gut lining becomes more permeable, and our immune system becomes more reactive. Those healthy whole grains start triggering inflammatory responses that directly target your muscle tissue. Wheat is the biggest offender. Modern wheat contains a lectin called wheat germ agglutinin, WGA, that's particularly inflammatory to aging bodies. When you eat that morning bowl of heart-healthy oatmeal or that slice of nutritious whole grain toast, WGA enters your bloodstream and begins a systematic attack on your muscle fibers. It's like sending tiny soldiers throughout your body with specific instructions to break down the largest, most energy-demanding tissues, your leg muscles. But it gets worse. Whole grains also contain compounds called phytates, which bind to essential minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iron, minerals your leg muscles desperately need to maintain strength and function. So not only are whole grains potentially inflammatory, they're also preventing your body from absorbing the very nutrients your legs need to stay strong. The blood sugar impact is equally damaging. Despite being complex carbohydrates, many whole grains spike blood sugar almost as dramatically as refined sugars. That whole wheat bread you think is healthy, it has a glycemic index of 69, nearly as high as white sugar at 70. When your slower metabolism can't handle these spikes efficiently, the result is chronic inflammation that preferentially attacks muscle tissue. Brown rice, often touted as a superfood, presents its own set of problems. It contains higher levels of arsenic than white rice, and arsenic accumulation in aging bodies can interfere with mitochondrial function, the energy powerhouses of your muscle cells. Your leg muscles, which require enormous amounts of energy to function, become sluggish and weak when their cellular engines can't operate efficiently. Quinoa, the darling of health food enthusiasts, contains saponins, natural compounds that can increase intestinal permeability in sensitive individuals. When your gut lining becomes more permeable, inflammatory particles enter your bloodstream more easily, creating systemic inflammation that weakens your legs from the inside out. The timing of whole grain consumption makes everything worse. Most people eat grain-heavy meals when their cortisol levels are highest, morning and evening. This combination of stress hormones and inflammatory compounds creates a perfect storm for muscle breakdown. Your legs, which need consistent strength throughout the day, are systematically weakened by the very foods you think are strengthening them. The cruel irony is that people often increase their whole grain intake when they're trying to get healthier, especially after receiving a diabetes or heart disease diagnosis. They switch from white bread to whole wheat, from white rice to brown rice, thinking they're making positive changes. Meanwhile, their leg strength continues to decline, their energy drops, and they blame aging instead of recognizing the dietary sabotage happening 3 times a day. Have you been following a high-fiber, whole-grain diet while struggling with leg weakness? Have you noticed your energy dropping and your stability decreasing despite eating what you thought were the healthiest possible foods? The connection between your whole grain intake and your declining leg strength might be more direct than you ever imagined. Item 3. The protein powder paradox. Walk into any nutrition store and you'll be bombarded with promises about protein powder. Build muscle, increase strength, perfect for seniors. The marketing is so convincing that millions of people over 50 are scooping protein powder into smoothies, believing they're doing everything right for their leg strength. But here's the shocking truth. Most protein powders are actually making your legs weaker. The problem starts with how protein powders are processed. To create that smooth, mixable powder, manufacturers use high heat and chemical processing that fundamentally alters the protein structure. These denatured proteins don't just become less effective, they can actually become inflammatory. Your aging immune system, already more reactive than it used to be, treats these processed proteins as foreign invaders and mounts an inflammatory response. Whey protein, the most popular choice, presents unique challenges for aging bodies. While whey is rapidly absorbed, which sounds good in theory, this rapid absorption can actually spike insulin levels dramatically. In older adults with decreased insulin sensitivity, these spikes trigger inflammatory cascades that break down muscle tissue faster than the protein can build it up. You're essentially taking one step forward and 2 steps back with every protein shake. But here's what's really insidious. Most protein powders contain hidden inflammatory ingredients that manufacturers don't want you to notice. Artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame can disrupt your gut bacteria balance, leading to increased intestinal permeability and systemic inflammation. Carrageenan, a common thickening agent, is a known inflammatory compound that can trigger autoimmune responses in sensitive individuals. The heavy metals problem is even more concerning. Independent testing has revealed that many popular protein powders contain dangerous levels of lead, cadmium, and arsenic. These toxic metals accumulate in your system over time, interfering with mitochondrial function in your muscle cells. Your leg muscles, which require enormous amounts of cellular energy, become sluggish and weak when their energy production is compromised by heavy metal toxicity. Soy protein isolate, often marketed as a heart-healthy alternative, contains concentrated levels of isoflavones that can disrupt hormone balance in both men and women. As your natural hormone production declines with age, these phytoestrogens can further suppress testosterone and growth hormone, the key hormones your body needs to maintain muscle mass and strength. The digestive burden is equally problematic. Protein powders require significant digestive resources to break down and absorb. Your aging digestive system, already producing fewer enzymes and less stomach acid, becomes overwhelmed trying to process these concentrated, artificial proteins. The result? Poor absorption, digestive distress, and inflammatory byproducts that circulate throughout your system. The timing recommendations make everything worse. Most experts suggest taking protein powder immediately after exercise when your cortisol levels are elevated and your immune system is already stressed from physical activity. Adding inflammatory, processed proteins at this vulnerable time amplifies the muscle-breaking inflammatory response rather than supporting muscle building. Perhaps most tragically, people often replace real, nutrient-dense whole foods with protein powder, thinking they're making a smart trade. They skip the grass-fed beef, the wild-caught fish, or the pastured eggs in favor of a convenient powder that promises the same benefits. But whole food proteins come with cofactors, minerals, and bioactive compounds that support muscle function in ways that isolated protein powder never can. The supplement industry has created a false narrative that you need massive amounts of protein to maintain muscle mass, leading people to consume far more protein powder than their bodies can actually utilize. This excess protein gets converted to glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, creating the same inflammatory blood sugar spikes that weaken your legs in the first place. Have you been religiously drinking protein shakes while watching your leg strength decline? Have you invested hundreds of dollars in premium protein powders while your energy and stability continue to decrease? The very supplement you thought was your solution might actually be part of the problem. Item 4. The vegetable oil catastrophe. If I told you that the cooking oil in your kitchen cabinet could be the single biggest threat to your leg strength, you'd probably think I was exaggerating. But the truth about vegetable oils and muscle weakness is one of the most important discoveries in modern nutrition science, and one of the best-kept secrets in the food industry. Every time you cook with vegetable oil, eat restaurant food or consume processed foods, you're flooding your system with omega-6 fatty acids in concentrations that your body was never designed to handle. These oils, corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, safflower oil, have been positioned as heart-healthy alternatives to saturated fats. But for your leg muscles, they're nothing short of inflammatory poison. Here's the mechanism. Omega-6 fatty acids are converted in your body into compounds called prostaglandins and leukotrienes, powerful inflammatory molecules that specifically target muscle tissue. When you consume these oils regularly, you create a state of chronic low-grade inflammation that systematically breaks down your largest muscle groups. Your legs, bearing your body weight all day long, take the biggest hit from this inflammatory assault. The processing methods make everything worse. To create these seemingly innocent cooking oils, manufacturers use extreme heat, chemical solvents like hexane, and deodorizing processes that create trans fats and lipid oxidation products. These damaged fats don't just fail to nourish your muscles, they actively damage cellular membranes throughout your muscle tissue. But here's what's truly shocking. The average person now consumes 20 times more omega-6 fatty acids than our ancestors did just 100 years ago. Your genetic makeup is designed to handle small amounts of these fats, but the modern food supply has created an omega-6 tsunami that overwhelms your body's natural anti-inflammatory mechanisms. Restaurant food is particularly dangerous because most establishments use cheap vegetable oils for all their cooking. That healthy grilled chicken salad you ordered? It was probably cooked in inflammatory soybean oil. Those roasted vegetables that seem so nutritious, they're likely swimming in corn oil that's creating muscle-destroying compounds in your system. The hidden sources are everywhere. Salad dressings, mayonnaise, baked goods, snack foods, even supposedly healthy items like granola bars and protein bars are loaded with these inflammatory oils. You might think you're eating clean, but if you're consuming any processed foods whatsoever, you're likely getting massive doses of muscle-weakening omega-6 fats. Canola oil deserves special mention because it's been so heavily marketed as healthy. Despite the marketing claims, canola oil is highly processed, contains trans fats, and goes rancid easily. When rancid oils enter your system, they create oxidative stress that directly damages muscle mitochondria, the energy powerhouses that your leg muscles depend on for strength and endurance. The temperature factor makes restaurant and processed food consumption even more dangerous. When vegetable oils are heated to high temperatures, they form compounds called aldehydes and acrolein, toxic substances that are directly cytotoxic to muscle cells. Every time you eat fried food or food cooked at high heat in vegetable oil, you're consuming compounds that kill muscle tissue. Your aging body is particularly vulnerable because your natural antioxidant production decreases over time. When you were younger, your body could neutralize some of the damage from these inflammatory oils. But after 50, your reduced antioxidant capacity means the muscle damage accumulates faster than it can be repaired. The membrane incorporation is perhaps the most insidious aspect. These inflammatory fatty acids actually become incorporated into your muscle cell membranes, making them more rigid and less functional. It's like building your house with defective materials. No matter how much protein you eat or how much you exercise, your muscle cells can't function optimally when their basic structure is compromised. Have you been cooking with vegetable oils thinking you were making heart-healthy choices? Have you been eating out regularly while wondering why your leg strength keeps declining? The connection between inflammatory oils and muscle weakness might explain why traditional approaches to building strength haven't been working for you. Item 5. The sugar substitute sabotage. In an effort to reduce sugar intake and maintain their health, millions of people over 50 have turned to artificial sweeteners and sugar substitutes. Diet sodas, sugar-free desserts, zero-calorie everything. These products promise all the sweetness with none of the negative effects. But when it comes to your leg strength, Sugar substitutes might be even more damaging than regular sugar. The most common artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium, don't just pass through your system harmlessly. They fundamentally alter your gut bacteria composition, creating what scientists call dysbiosis. Your gut bacteria play a crucial role in producing compounds that regulate inflammation throughout your body. When artificial sweeteners kill off beneficial bacteria and promote harmful species, the result is systemic inflammation that specifically targets muscle tissue. Aspartame, found in Diet Coke, Equal, and thousands of other products, breaks down into methanol and formaldehyde in your body. These toxic compounds accumulate in muscle tissue over time, interfering with cellular energy production and protein synthesis. Your leg muscles, which require enormous amounts of energy to function, become sluggish and weak when their cellular machinery is poisoned by these breakdown products. Sucralose, marketed as Splendor, was originally developed as an insecticide before being remarketed as a sweetener. It works by binding to sweet taste receptors, but it also binds to other receptors throughout your body, including those in muscle tissue. Research shows that sucralose can reduce muscle protein synthesis by up to 25%, meaning your muscles literally can't rebuild themselves effectively when you consume this artificial sweetener regularly. The insulin confusion effect is equally damaging. While artificial sweeteners don't contain calories, they trigger insulin release by activating sweet taste receptors in your mouth and gut. This inappropriate insulin response leads to blood sugar instability, increased cortisol production, and chronic inflammation. Your leg muscles suffer from this hormonal chaos, becoming weaker and more prone to fatigue. Sugar alcohols like sorbitol, xylitol, and erythritol present their own set of problems. While they're marketed as natural alternatives, they can cause severe digestive distress in many people, leading to malabsorption of critical nutrients. Your leg muscles depend on specific vitamins and minerals to maintain strength, and sugar alcohol-induced malabsorption can create deficiencies that directly impact muscle function. The psychological aspect is perhaps most insidious. Artificial sweeteners can actually increase sugar cravings by confusing your brain's reward pathways. People who use artificial sweeteners regularly often consume more overall sweetened foods, creating a cycle of inflammation and muscle breakdown that's worse than if they had just consumed moderate amounts of natural sugar. Stevia, often positioned as the healthiest alternative, isn't without problems either. Many commercial stevia products contain added fillers like dextrose or erythritol, and even pure stevia can affect blood pressure and hormone levels in sensitive individuals. The highly processed stevia extracts found in most products are far removed from the whole leaf that traditional cultures used sparingly. The accumulation effect is the real problem. Unlike natural sugars that your body knows how to process and eliminate, artificial sweeteners and their metabolites can accumulate in your tissues over time. Your leg muscles become repositories for these foreign compounds, and their normal function becomes increasingly compromised. Diet drinks are particularly problematic because people often consume them in large quantities, thinking they're making healthy choices. A single diet soda might contain multiple artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and artificial colors that all contribute to inflammation and muscle weakness. The phosphoric acid in diet colas also interferes with calcium absorption, weakening not just your bones, but also your muscle contractions. The timing makes everything worse. Many people consume diet drinks or sugar-free foods when they're stressed or tired, exactly when their cortisol levels are highest and their bodies are most vulnerable to inflammatory damage. This combination of artificial sweeteners and stress hormones creates a perfect storm for muscle breakdown. Have you been choosing diet sodas and sugar-free products thinking you were protecting your health? Have you been consuming artificial sweeteners daily while wondering why your leg strength and energy keep declining? The very products you thought were helping you avoid sugar-related problems might be creating even worse muscle-related issues. Now, I know what you're thinking. If all these foods that seem healthy can actually weaken your legs, then what on earth are you supposed to eat? If fruits are inflammatory, whole grains are problematic, protein powders are processed poison, vegetable oils are muscle destroyers, and sugar substitutes are sabotaging your strength, then what's left? I understand the frustration. You've been trying to do everything right. You've followed the conventional wisdom. made the healthy choices, and yet your legs keep getting weaker. You might be feeling overwhelmed, confused, or even a little angry that no one told you this information before. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about giving up all the foods you enjoy or following some impossible restrictive diet. This isn't about complicated meal plans, expensive supplements, or drastic lifestyle overhauls. The solution is actually much simpler, more natural and more powerful than any of those approaches. What if I told you that nature has already provided the perfect food for rebuilding leg strength? What if there's one specific food that addresses every single problem we just discussed? The metabolic slowdown, the circulation issues, the chronic inflammation, the nutrient absorption problems? What if this food not only avoids all the pitfalls we just explored, but actually reverses the damage? This isn't some exotic superfood that costs a fortune or requires special ordering from distant countries. It's not a synthetic supplement created in a laboratory. It's a whole, natural food that's been strengthening muscles and supporting human health for thousands of years. It's probably available at your local grocery store right now, and you might have walked past it dozens of times without realizing its incredible power. The science behind this food is absolutely remarkable. It contains the exact combination of nutrients that your leg muscles are craving. It supports healthy circulation, reduces inflammation, optimizes metabolism, and provides bioavailable protein in the perfect ratios for muscle building. It works with your body's natural healing processes instead of fighting against them. But the most amazing part? You can start feeling the effects in as little as 12 hours. Not 12 weeks of gradual improvement, 12 hours of noticeable strength enhancement. Your legs will feel more stable, more energetic, more capable. Your balance will improve, your endurance will increase, and that frustrating weakness will begin to melt away. Are you ready to discover this incredible food? Are you ready to reclaim the strong, stable legs you thought were gone forever? Then let's reveal the solution that changes everything. The miraculous power of wild-caught salmon. The one food that can transform your leg strength in just 12 hours is wild-caught salmon. And the science behind why it works is absolutely fascinating. This isn't just another eat more fish recommendation. This is about understanding how wild salmon addresses every single factor that's been weakening your legs and provides the exact nutrients your muscles are desperately craving. Wild salmon is nature's perfect muscle-building food because it contains the ideal ratio of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, in concentrations that can immediately begin reversing the inflammatory damage we discussed earlier. Remember how vegetable oils flood your system with inflammatory omega-6 fats? Wild salmon does the exact opposite. It floods your system with anti-inflammatory omega-3s that specifically target muscle tissue for healing and strengthening. But here's what makes salmon extraordinary. It doesn't just reduce inflammation, it actively promotes muscle protein synthesis through a unique combination of high-quality protein and bioactive compounds. Wild salmon contains all 9 essential amino acids in optimal ratios, but more importantly, it contains them in a form that your aging digestive system can easily absorb and utilize. Unlike processed protein powders, salmon's protein comes with natural cofactors that enhance absorption and effectiveness. The selenium content in wild salmon is particularly crucial for leg strength. Selenium is essential for proper muscle function and energy production, and most people over 50 are severely deficient. A single serving of wild salmon provides more bioavailable selenium than most people get in an entire week from other sources. This selenium immediately goes to work optimizing the mitochondria in your leg muscles, those cellular powerhouses that generate the energy you need for strength and endurance. Wild salmon also contains astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that gives the fish its pink color. Astaxanthin is specifically protective of muscle tissue, preventing the oxidative damage that accelerates muscle breakdown. It's like having a shield protecting your leg muscles from the daily assault of environmental toxins, stress, and metabolic byproducts. The vitamin D content is another game changer. Most people over 50 are vitamin D deficient, and this deficiency directly impacts muscle strength and function. Vitamin D isn't just important for bone health, it's essential for muscle contraction, balance, and coordination. Wild salmon is one of the few natural food sources of bioactive vitamin D that your body can immediately utilize. Here's the timing secret. Consume wild salmon in the evening, about 3 to 4 hours before bed. This timing allows the anti-inflammatory compounds to work while you sleep, when your body does its most intensive muscle repair and rebuilding. The high-quality protein provides the amino acid building blocks your muscles need for overnight regeneration, while the omega-3s reduce inflammation throughout your system. The preparation method matters enormously. Bake or broil your salmon with simple seasonings like lemon, herbs, and a small amount of olive oil. Avoid cooking at extremely high temperatures, which can damage the delicate omega-3 fatty acids. A 6-ounce serving is optimal, enough to provide therapeutic levels of nutrients without overwhelming your digestive system. Your body will thank you in ways you never expected. Your legs will feel more stable, your energy will increase, and that nagging weakness will begin to fade away. The supporting power of leafy greens. While wild salmon provides the primary muscle building and anti-inflammatory power, dark leafy greens serve as the perfect supporting cast in your leg strength restoration plan. Spinach, kale, arugula, and Swiss chard aren't just healthy vegetables, they're targeted medicine for your muscle tissue, providing specific compounds that work synergistically with salmon to maximize your results. The nitrate content in leafy greens is perhaps their most powerful muscle-strengthening property. Natural nitrates convert to nitric oxide in your body, which dramatically improves blood circulation to your leg muscles. Remember how poor circulation was starving your muscles of oxygen and nutrients. Leafy greens solve this problem by literally opening up your blood vessels and improving nutrient delivery throughout your muscle tissue. But it's the mineral content that makes leafy greens truly exceptional for leg strength. They're loaded with bioavailable magnesium, potassium, and iron, minerals that are essential for muscle contraction, energy production, and oxygen transport. Unlike synthetic supplements that are poorly absorbed, the minerals in leafy greens come bound to natural compounds that enhance absorption and utilization. The folate content is particularly important for people over 50. Folate is essential for DNA repair and cellular regeneration, processes that slow down as we age. Your leg muscles are constantly breaking down and rebuilding, and folate ensures this process happens efficiently. Deficiency in folate leads to inefficient muscle repair and gradual strength loss. Leafy greens also contain powerful antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin that protect muscle tissue from oxidative damage. These compounds work differently than the astaxanthin in salmon, providing complementary protection that covers a broader spectrum of potential muscle-damaging compounds. The timing and preparation of leafy greens is crucial for maximum benefit. Consume them with your salmon to enhance the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Light cooking actually increases the bioavailability of many nutrients in leafy greens, so don't feel like you have to eat them raw. A simple sauté with garlic and olive oil makes them both more digestible and more nutritious. Avocados might seem like an unusual addition to a muscle-strengthening protocol, but they provide essential healthy fats that optimize hormone production and nutrient absorption. The monounsaturated fats in avocados help your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamins in salmon and leafy greens while providing steady, sustained energy for your leg muscles. Avocados also contain glutathione, your body's master antioxidant, which becomes increasingly important as we age. Glutathione protects muscle tissue from inflammatory damage and supports the cellular cleanup processes that keep your muscles functioning optimally. The potassium content in avocados is exceptional, even higher than bananas, but without the inflammatory sugar content. Potassium is essential for proper muscle contraction and preventing the muscle cramps and weakness that many people experience as they age. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to take a moment to imagine something with me. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and feeling your legs strong and stable beneath you. Imagine standing up from your chair without hesitation, walking upstairs with confidence, and moving through your day with the energy and stability you thought were gone forever. This isn't just a dream, it's absolutely possible. The science is clear. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you science-backed information to help you live a healthier, more energetic, and balanced life. We provide practical solutions to improve your diet, body, and mind, all in an easy and accessible way. Ready to take the next step toward a healthier life? Check out the recommended products that can support your journey. Find the links in the pinned comment. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to stay updated with the best tips on longevity, nutrition, and wellness. Let's transform our health together.